In today's video, we're going to focus on the price discovery phases in the parabolic upside phase of the cycle, because this green square right over here, that represents a parabolic upside phase of the cycle, and we're currently in it. But this parabolic upside phase consists of price discovery uptrends in green and price discovery corrections in red. And we've seen in the 2021 cycle that we can see a few of these price discovery uptrends and corrections before we inevitably top out in the bear market cycle. So let's talk about these price discovery uptrend and corrective phases in this current parabolic phase of the cycle. So subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Like this video if you enjoy content like this going forward, and let's dive right into it. And before we dive in, a quick message from our sponsor. Our sponsor for today's episode is bitfinex, and they are a really great crypto exchange for you to consider for your daily crypto trading and investing. They are a no KYC, no VPN futures exchange, and their liquidity is on par with the top exchanges. Users can trade over 250 pairs with up to 125x leverage without restriction. And to celebrate our partnership, we're running a very special offer. From January 21st until February 21st, you can sign up using my link and deposit $50 and get $10 back, and share up to $10,000 worth of Trump tokens when you trade on bitfinex. Deposit reward will be distributed on every Monday and Thursday, and Trump trading rewards will be distributed after the campaign ends. The clock is ticking, the countdown timer is underway, and for more information, check out the link in the description down below. Thank you very much, bitfinex, for sponsoring this episode. Let's dive right into it. If we focus on the post-halving reaccumulation phase, we've seen that happen in the past on numerous occasions in different Bitcoin cycles. It's a staple when it comes to structures after the halving. And then when we break out from that reaccumulation phase, we enter a price discovery uptrend. And in 2021, we saw that this was quite an extensive uptrend, weeks in the process of forming that uptrend before transitioning into its first price discovery correction. So just the first takeaway in terms of a principle, if we're looking at this first price discovery uptrend right over here, and we have this first price discovery uptrend right over here, then that's the analogous situation across cycles. We then see the first price discovery correction, and this is the first price discovery correction in this cycle. So you can see that the analogous price discovery uptrends and corrections are roughly the same. What's interesting is that we saw history repeat itself in the guise of weeks 6 and 8 in the price discovery uptrend producing some sort of downside. In 2021, we saw 16% in week 8 of the price discovery uptrend, and minus 8% downside in week 8 of the price discovery uptrend from 2021. Here we actually saw week 6 and week 8 actually produce quite a bit of downside in this corrective period, prompting that price discovery correction. So as you'll remember from before we even got this corrective period, we were preparing for a correction, for that first price discovery correction. But what we need to really emphasize is that this price discovery correction, it was 5 weeks long, and it was only 17% deep. And if we look at, for example, historical price discovery corrections, then this one in 2021, it occurred in approximately week 12, and it was 31% deep. But it did last 3 to 4.5 weeks or so, 3 to 4 weeks, I'd say. And if we just move on to 2017, for example, then it was in week 8 where we got a price correction in the price discovery phase in 2017, and this one lasted 1 to 3.5 weeks before reversing towards the upside, but this was 34% deep. So just going back to this chart here, this price discovery correction was unprecedented in the sense that it was just a week longer than what we've historically seen. We tend to see 3 to 4 weeks duration in these price discovery corrections, and we typically tend to see deeper ones, but this was a shallower one. So not only was it a little bit different because it was longer, but it was also shallower, so it was different in that respect. So it just showcases to us that even though the corrective weeks 6 to 8 were correct in terms of timing this price discovery correction, history repeated in that regard, but history doesn't always have to repeat. It often rhymes, and it rhymed in terms of multiple weeks of downside, 5 weeks. Typically, we tend to see 3 to 4 weeks. And of course, the downside was shallower in this pullback rather than what we saw in this pullback of 31% in 2021. and 34% in 2017. So maybe those pullbacks are getting shallower, but I do think we'll see a stronger pullback in the future in the second price discovery correction. So if we're looking at this price discovery correction right over here, you can see that we're already trying to transition out from it, and it tends to occur in the form of a U-shaped reversal. We saw that right over here, and we also saw that sort of U-shaped reversal take place right over here as well. So what's great about this is that we're already seeing this U-shaped reversal. So what is the confirmation signal that we need to see before we transition into the second price discovery uptrend? Because this corrective period is pretty much over. We haven't really broken to new highs sustainably. We have made new all-time highs, but I'd like to see candle-bodied new all-time highs just to showcase that this is a sustainable breakout and that we're going to continue rallying higher. We need to see confirmation of breaking those old all-time highs and that final major resistance on the weekly time frame. So if we look at 2021, for example, then you can see that this is the final major resistance on the weekly time frame, and we need to get a weekly close above here and even a retest of that same resistance, as you can see right over here. So resistance right over here and then weekly close above it to turn this level into a breaking resistance and then turn it successfully into a support to then springboard and trend continue to new all-time highs and beyond. That's the sort of confirmation that we really need to look out for going forward. So if we zoom into this current cycle, we have this resistance right over here, and we're really right on the edge of that. We're just teetering in and around that region. So you can see that that's approximately 104.5k that we need to weekly close above to really set up and trigger that cascading buy side pressure to fuel price to new all-time highs and beyond. And if we get a weekly close here, then we'll see that this resistance, this final major resistance on the weekly time frame, is crumbling. But what we might need to see is a retest of this old resistance into a new support. That's what 2021 is suggesting to us, that a weekly close followed by a retest would fantastically confirm that breakout to new all-time highs and beyond. That's what 2021 is suggesting, and that's one of the reasons that I'm saying that 2021 is suggesting that, is because 2017 isn't suggesting that. If we look at where we started that price discovery correction in 2017 right over here, you'll notice that we get this weekly close above this level, but we don't pull back into that same resistance to turn it into a new support. We don't get that post-breakout retest. And so this is only another example of how history tends to repeat, but not picture perfect. So history tends to more or less rhyme rather than repeat, copy, paste. We tend to see really important technical signals taking place in the form of a weekly close. That tends to repeat, but that post-breakout retest doesn't always repeat. So 2017 is showcasing to us that the weekly close is really important. 2021 also showcases to us that this weekly close above that final major weekly resistance is really important. But 2017 is suggesting that we don't always need to see a pullback into a successful post-breakout retest before rallying to new all-time highs. And 2021 is suggesting that sometimes actually we may need to see that sort of pullback and successful retest before rallying into price discovery and that second price discovery uptrend. And the funny thing about this is that actually if we look at the post-breakout if we look at the post-halving reaccumulation phase, then when 2017 broke out, it went for a post-breakout retest of the top of that reaccumulation phase before rallying into its first price discovery uptrend. So that's 2017. But if we look at 2021, for example, just have a look here. This reaccumulation range high here, we got a weekly close above here, but no post-breakout retest of that reaccumulation phase. So it just shows to us how conflicting these cycles can be. 2017 is showing to us that it can get post-breakout retests of the reaccumulation phase, but then 2021 is showcasing that the post-halving reaccumulation phase doesn't have to get successfully retested with a post-breakout retest, but then it actually showcases us a different tendency that maybe sometimes we need to get those post-breakout retests in the end, and 2017 does the opposite because we don't see that post-breakout retest when recovering from the price discovery correction. So these really important takeaways are, if we look at this reaccumulation phase for this cycle, we can see that this is very 2021-esque, right? It's really 2021-esque where we just weekly close and rally without post-breakout retesting this region. And that's 2021-esque. And if it continues to be 2021 or 2021-esque at this price predicament here, then we'll need to see a weekly close and a post-breakout retest to rally higher. But if for some reason we'll see a 2017-esque situation take place, then a weekly close followed by a lack of a post-breakout retest could be enough to see us break to new highs. So you can see how we often see a difference and a mixture of different cycles coming into play when it comes to different types of technicalities, but it really just, the takeaway is very, very simple. Weekly close above this final major resistance, and we might very well be off to the races. Thanks so much for joining me in this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Like this video if you enjoy content like this going forward. I'm Rekt Capital, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.